single most important time in any farm in terms of grassland management, and this is not well understood, is actually setting up for the autumn. And the reasons for this is, we'll say that any analysis of grass-based dairying, whether in Ireland, New Zealand, wherever, always indicates, we'll say that the farmer who actually utilises most grass per hectare will always tend to be much higher in profitability. Lauren Chalou has actually put figures on this, where he's said that, his old figure used to be at kind of average price, €161 a tonne per tonne utilised for every extra tonne of grass, we'll say, the cows eat. Now in the high-priced year 2014, he raised this to 267. So probably running at an average figure of around €200 per tonne for every extra tonne of grass utilised. So there's a major benefit in terms of, for farmers, getting a very high figure for tonnes of grass utilised per hectare. Now, obviously at one level, you've got to grow that grass. I know John McNamara went through many of the factors that, just namely very quickly: drainage, lime, fertility, species. We'll say that make sure, we'll say, you're not pumped in reasonable infrastructure there and reasonable stocking rate. They're some of the things in terms of growing extra grass. But I want to switch now in terms of and the importance of autumn grass management in terms of how do you actually utilise a lot more grass. And I'd say, first of all, we'll say that many farmers who think they're doing a good job in this area, in practice, I would question it. There's been a huge improvement, we'll say, that among farmers in terms of using the feed wedge in the main grass season from early April through into August. But we'll say that, so that is good. We'll say that many people are doing a much better job. But there's a huge potential, which to a fair extent hasn't been tapped, in terms of, we'll say, that what you do, we'll say, from we call it roughly mid-August through to the 1st of April, in terms of extending the grazing season and utilising a lot more grass, growing and utilising a lot more grass, particularly via grazing. And so it really starts with I'll work going forwards, because we'll say that I'll work going forwards now at the moment, and we'll take on a reasonably heavily stocked farm. You probably need to be building up grass. So this is a grass cover. Now this is a tag of scorings. We'll say that the amount, the kgs of grass dry matter per hectare over 4 centimetres, and so running up to August. June, July, August, running at something like 500 kgs cover. But if stocked at close to 3 per hectare, you need to be pushing from somewhere like the 7th or 10th, that kind of date, to build grass, we'll say. So basically, at a time of surplus, you actually push grass ahead of you, get onto a longer rotation. And by your reverse magic day, the day, we'll say, when supply starts to slip below demand, which on a heavily stocked farm will be somewhere like the 18th, maybe the 25th of September, that kind of date. If you can actually push, we'll say, so that you have about 1,200 kgs of dry matter per hectare. Now some people would query that and might go up or down a little bit, so we leave that debate. So in effect, at a time of surplus, August and September, you're pushing grass ahead of you, and you're pushing grass into the more deficit period of October and November. So, it allows you, by doing that, it allows you a springboard so that you can actually feed a lot of grass in October and November. Now that's the first point. But the second point is, we'll say that it also shapes, if you like, a feed wedge. And as you graze it, we'll say that, and John McNamara went into exactly the timings of some of the issues that arise in grazing it, but it shapes a feed wedge then for the spring, we'll say, that allows you to stay out late until the 1st of December, but equally to get out again from the 1st of February when cows calve, so that when cows calve that you can get out, so they're not on silage from the time they calve. They're out day and night on grass largely, plus perhaps a small top up on meal. And so again, it's important to understand your closing cover, and that'll be very related. Your closing cover is very related to issues such as the stocking rate, such as we'll say that the time of calving, and equally the kind of growth rates you can expect in your own location. And fairly typically we'll say that in the south, on the south coast of Ireland or south coast of the UK, you can probably expect on the south coast and December, January, you can probably expect to add about 300 to cover. If you're up in the Midlands, we'll say that this is much more likely that your closing cover will in effect be your opening cover. So but the key point is, we'll say, to know what calving cover you need, and then use the spring rotation planner from there to ensure, we'll say, that depending again on location, again on the south of Ireland, we'll say, so we would expect to end our first rotation about the 1st of April. If you're in the Midlands, that would be a little bit later. But think of what you're doing. By going on to a slower rotation here, you're actually growing more grass. You're pushing more grass here, so that you're extending the grazing season. Again here, from the time you close, when you're off for 60 days, again you're pushing some grass ahead of you, and then you're using very controlled grazings, so that will say that you're maximising the amount of grass that you're growing and equally utilising at all times. Now, each of these phases, will say, they can go into a lot of detail, but the overall philosophy is, by planning like this, that you will wind up utilising far more grass per hectare. And if you put an average figure of €200 a tonne, for many people who think they're doing a good job, in practice there's a price of at least 2 or 3 tonnes more, and that's probably, say, 500 a hectare, on top of what people think is already a fairly reasonable performance. So it's a prize within everybody's grasp, we'll say, and it just requires more precise budgeting. So some of the things you need to do are a challenge for everybody: exactly what stocking rate should you have, and that is very related to the amount of grass that you will grow. Now, these are overall questions. Again, exactly what date you should calve, and there are a few things you need to know before you can figure that one out. Plus, we'll say, working backwards. I'm working backwards this time now. Earlier I was working forwards. You absolutely need to know, we'll say, that the cover that you need on your magic day. You need to know your opening cover when you start calving. You need to know your closing cover. You need to know, we'll say, that the kind of cover on reverse magic day that you build up, and equally that you will need to know the date at which you'll start to push, because in a heavy calved situation you probably need to start pushing that grass forward from somewhere like the 8th or 10th of August. If you're lightly stocked at 2 cows a hectare, you probably don't need to start really pushing grass until the end of August. And your reverse magic day, which up here, that will be well into October. So it depends on circumstances, but it's important to understand the basic principles.